Welcome back to New Jersey Now. I'm Mark Bonano. Getting, and more importantly, staying in shape at age 40 and beyond. That's the mission of Montclair-based certified personal trainer Kirk Charles, who teaches and inspires a mature generation to be fit through exercise and plant-based food. And Kirk joins me now with some tips that you can use at home. What did you notice in the 40-plus generation that made you realize that this is a demographic that you needed to work with?
Things start to fall apart. They start to fall apart quickly. You know, when you're 20s, you think you're Superman, then in your 30s, you find out you're Clark Kent. And then you hit your 40s, and it's like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the time, it's a midlife crisis, so to speak, but things just don't work the way they used to, and you know now that you have to put work in to make sure that they do.
Now, you've started a program you call the 4 Pillars to be Fit Beyond 40. Started that in 2021 during the pandemic. Why do you feel it was necessary to inform people over 40 about their health?
Because during the pandemic, comorbidities was an issue. You know, people were just being, unfortunately, taken out by that.
Sure.
And a lot of that can be overcome if you just change your lifestyle and if you get the proper amount of exercise and also plant-based eating. And there was an article in the Harvard Gazette and also the British Medical Journal that talked about plant-based eating and exercise and how if you engage in both, you have a great chance of overcoming COVID and not really worrying about it. It won't be a factor.
Let's go one by one through the 4 pillars. Mentality.
You have to decide. I tell this to all of my clients. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? Where would you like to be? And 10 is your best version of you, where you live your best life. Where would you like to be? And do you think you can get there? My job as a coach and as a personal trainer is to help you get there. So you have to take an honest look. And the thing is, you're not competing against other people, you're competing against yourself. You want to be the best version of you. Once you do that, I feel you can compete with anyone if you're at your best. So that's the mentality.
And we got the other 3 here. We've got environment, exercise, food. Please elaborate.
Environment is probably the most important thing because when you're at home, you have to take control of what you have there. In our society, once you walk out of the door, you lose control, especially when it comes to food. And then you come home and then you sit down and you watch football all day like I like to do, and you do absolutely nothing. So if you can clean up your environment by bringing the right food into the environment, and also now's football season, which I love. I have my weights right by the television, so I'm not just sitting there vegging out while the game is on. I exercise while I'm watching the Giants or the Jets.
Now you're talking about exercise, weights. What kind of exercises are you teaching?
Exercises include cardiovascular, number 1, also resistance, and third would be like yoga, stretching. Like my yoga friends hate when I put the 2 together, but some yoga poses I use as stretches, and then rest is as important as all the other 3.
You're also a plant-based food advocate. Why do you advocate a plant-based diet?
It's the superior way to go. All the evidence points that way, and aside from the evidence, my own personal story is great. You know, I've been vegan for 35 years, and more so whole food, plant-based vegan. And earlier this year, you know, I was having a couple of issues with blood pressure that runs in my family. And I decided to start like a raw food challenge for my clients and people who follow me online. So for 10 days every month, we do raw food, salads, fruits, nuts. And my blood pressure at the beginning of the year, around January 4th, was like maybe 170 over 110. Now, I'm a personal trainer. I work out all the time. I've been vegan for a long period of time. But even just being vegan and eating a lot of vegan junk food is not the way to go. So I decided, hey, let's throw some raw food into the mix. And one part about eating raw food is that it seems to digest better. You have more digestive enzymes in the food like you don't with cooked food. When I did that, about 2 or 3 weeks, my blood pressure went down into the 130s over 80s. So that's, to me, a miraculous thing. So that's why I'm such a big plant-based food advocate.
Tell me how a plant-based diet can fight metabolic diseases like obesity and diabetes and hypertension and cancer.
Well, when you go on a plant-based diet, and most people won't go 100%. I do, I advocate 100%, but you want to eat as many plants as you can, and just some of the other junk food or meat foods, relatively little bit of those. What it does is it lowers the fat in the food. That's number 1, which is very important. If you cook at home and you prepare your own food, you don't have to worry about additives being put in there that you don't know about. Because whenever you go out, you really don't know what's in the food and you don't have control. So I have like a cooking class that I do, raw food preparation, all types of things to educate people so they understand how this works. Now, once you do it, there are some immediate effects that you can get from doing it. When I talk about, well, maybe you won't get cancer, you won't have a heart attack, that's way off in the future. People don't really identify with it. They want to know what's happening here and now. So some clients feel their skin gets better within 2 or 3 days. Some have better digestion within 2 or 3 days because there's such a high fiber content in the food. Right. And there are a lot of other things that can happen almost immediately through plant-based eating. So that's why I'm an advocate of it.
What do you say to people who are maybe hesitant? You know, they like beef, they like chicken, they like pork, they like fish. You know, this is a serious life change, you know?
Continue to like them, continue to love all of that stuff, but you have to greatly reduce the amount of it if you want the body to heal itself. You can still have it, but you can't have it all the time.
How can people find out more about your work and as well as Fit Beyond 40?
KirkCharles.com. That's all you have to do is go to our site. There are links there. Sign up for my email list. You'll get news about the Raw Food Challenge and everything else that I'm doing.
Mr. Kirk Charles, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Hope we can all be healthier going forward.
I hope so. Let's get Fit Beyond 40.
That's all for today's show. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next week on New Jersey Now.